Mike, turn your games down.
Rolling around at the speed of sound. Got places to go, gotta follow my rainbow. Can't stick around, have to keep moving on. Guess what lies ahead? Only one way to find out. Welcome to episode 158 of Games My Mom Found. I am Mike Albertin, and who just got shocked with me tonight?
What if we just never talked? Just let that just be the episode.
It's just me singing. There's no talking.
Yeah.
And what is your name, sir?
Oh, it's Nate. Hello.
And welcome back.
Thanks for welcoming me.
I was going to warn you I had a bit to start this episode, but I forgot to warn you. And who is our other special guest?
Hey, I'm Reis.
And welcome back. Where might, if you want to plug, you're a game developer.
Oh, yeah, apparently. I am a developer. My game company is Side Group Games. We make weird little indie narrative games.
You did an interview and covered, God, I always forget the name of that game.
Throw Me in the River.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Thank you.
I liked it.
So definitely go check that out, the episode and the game. And you'll see a link in the show notes to the game on his website.
Yeah.
And you two wonderful lads have joined me to talk about a game that spans time and generations, has been heralded as a masterpiece.
Has a lot of colors.
We are here to talk about Sonic Adventure 2 and Battle, because we all played the GameCube version, which came out in 2002, and the original one for Dreamcast came out in 2001.
Yep.
Made by Sonic Team, or developed by Sonic Team, published by Sega, came out in the Dreamcast and the GameCube. And then
I never installed the Battle DLC, just FYI.
You missed nothing.
I Googled it, and it was like, oh, it adds textures, and I was like, nah, I'm good.
It also adds battle mode.
Maybe it wouldn't have. I played on PC, and maybe it wouldn't have crashed as much. Maybe the Battle DLC makes it a little more stable.
It was just because Sonic was
textures,
going.
That's possible. Actually, I don't know.
Yeah, because it was all the crashing was just like it wasn't like in a specific spot. Like sometimes I would just be like running around, and it would just be like, oh, time to crash. And then a couple times I paused to like take care of children, and then I'd come back, and it would just crashed, and I'm like, cool. I'll just do that 12-minute knuckle level over. That's great.
Oh man. Like,
yeah, so all of us found a different way to play it, which was interesting, right?
Yeah, because I played it on. I played on GameCube emulation.
Yeah, I played it on 360 backwards compatibility on a Series X.
And Nate, you played PC because I gifted you the code for it. Because I had bought a Sonic bundle sometime before this because I'm like, just because I think I wanted Sonic. There was something Sonic I wanted that was in that bundle, and it was cheaper just to buy the whole bundle and get all these key codes, which there will be a Steam code giveaway at some point in this episode. So I will say it now, so I don't have a choice but to do it, of something Sonic I have. So, and it was actually going to be Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, but then when I met Nate was like, well, I don't have a way to play it. I'm like, I got a code.
There you go.
Yeah.
Here we are.
He had a code, all right.
This was your first time ever playing it, right, Nate?
Yes. I have very little nostalgia for Sonic. I think I had a Game Gear with one Sonic game, but I don't know what Sonic game it was.
There's some good ones on Game Gear, by the way.
That was my only experience with it.
From what I remember, Triple Trouble is not that bad on Game Gear.
We'll say that was the one I had. I don't know.
There's a couple. There's a Tails one, which you would know because it's completely different type gameplay. Yeah,
no, this one had Sonic, and then I just remember a jungle level, and I could not get past that jungle level.
Yeah, Sonic's hard. They're not.
Yeah, some of those other games are especially tricky, for sure.
I'm also just bad.
Going. Reis, do you have any history? What's your history with this game?
Sure. So I grew up playing games on PC and didn't have consoles growing up, so I didn't play any of the earlier Sonic games, but I did wind up playing a PC port of 3 and Knuckles when I was a kid, and I fell in love with that game. And as I heard about Sonic Adventure coming out, I really wished that I could play it, but I didn't have a Dreamcast. I didn't know anyone who had a Dreamcast. And I had one friend. Yeah, I had one friend who showed up to school with his Sonic Adventure 2 instruction manual for Dreamcast. And I would page through that thing being like, man, I wish I could play this game. It looked like the raddest game at the time, you know? So eventually, when I saved up money, and the GameCube was my first console that I ever bought with my own money. And the day I bought that, I bought Super Smash Bros. Melee and Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. And those were my 2 first console games that I ever owned.
Wow.
So it was a big deal when I played that for the first time.
I remember, I already knew who Sonic was because I had played Genesis games. I had a friend who introduced me to Sonic 2, Sonic 3, Knuckles, and all those classics. I don't think I even knew this game was out for GameCube. I vaguely remember going to a Blockbuster, I think, or Walmart, I don't remember where, seeing this game for $30 or $40 when I picked it up for GameCube. I had no idea what it was, other than it was Sonic. And I remember enjoying it, but I didn't get that far. Like, I had a hard time with this game. Or I just didn't. I don't remember what happened. I just remember playing it a bunch, doing some things in it, and then kind of putting it down. I don't think I ever finished it at that. I never finished at that time, and it wasn't until I think a couple years later when I got fired from my first job when I was like 16 or so, and my girlfriend at the time, who lived in Minnesota, came to visit and stay with me for like 3 months in Wisconsin, and we played this game all summer. And that's my biggest memory of this, because we were going for all A's because she loved this game and actually was close to having a lot of A's. And I found out that at that time I was extremely good at Tails and Eggman levels and could A like all the missions.
Yeah, I also basically 100% of this game when I was a kid.
Damn, you actually got Green Hill Zone?
I got Green Hill Zone back when I was a kid on GameCube.
We never
again. I didn't do it again. I'm never going to do that again.
Oh, no one ever should. That's an insanity. Yeah, we never did. We were 2 or 3 A's away from getting it, and they were like in Shadow or Sonic levels and Final Chase or Final Rush or Crazy Gadget, one of those extremely hard levels, and we couldn't do it.
I mean, we'll get into this, but there are ways that I think you can enjoy this game today, but one of them is not getting A on every level.
No, that's an insanity thing.
So I thought this game had that cool dock level with the whale. Because like anytime I heard of Sonic Adventure, it was like, oh, that cool whale level. And I was like, that sounds cool. And so then I played this whole game and that's not in it.
It's the first adventure.
That must be the first one.
It is.
I played the whole one. I was like, oh, damn.
Yeah, that's first level of Adventure 1.
Which I have never really played Adventure 1, even though I own multiple copies of it. I have never touched it yet.
Yeah. I mean, we can talk Adventure 1 too a little bit, but yeah, that game is suffers from a lot of the same issues that this one does, and I think even more so in a lot of ways. It's quite a fascinating game.
Which one is like the better game?
Oh,
like,
2.
2 is? Okay.
Oh yeah.
That makes you want to play 1, doesn't it?
No.
I don't think so either. So I've been recommending this game to people for years about how this game is great, but I realize I haven't replayed it in like over 7 years until this week. We'll get more into that, but I do got to say, like, one thing about this game is that you get to pick 2 different stories, either hero story or dark story when you start out. One is Sonic story with Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, and the other one is Shadow, new character, Eggman, and Rouge, another new character that you play as. I'm assuming all of us started with hero story, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's kind of what you're supposed to do, or what the game expects you to do, because City Escape, the first level in the hero story, feels like the first level of the game and probably the best level of the entire game, by far.
Yeah, I think some of that is like iconography, but it also does feel like the dark levels are generally, they skew a little bit more difficult than the hero levels, so yeah.
Yeah, especially the Shadow ones do, I think.
Yeah.
But City Escape is so amazing. Like, I just started that level and I just hear the song, which is what I opened up this with. You guys get to listen to for 20 seconds of me being sick singing City Escape. I've been waiting years to do that, by the way, on this recording. And it's still like so great. I get so pumped up. I feel so good. It's just the song is so good, and somehow, and then you're just being Sonic. You're running around at the speed of sound, got places to go. You're just going down the level, and everything is so fast until you get off the board and you're running around as Sonic. But it does a good job of really, I feel like, introducing you to the game and getting you pumped to the game.
Yeah,
I have a lore question. Sorry, go ahead.
Sure.
You're good. I was just going to say, yeah, I agree. It's a really strong opening. It makes a really strong first impression.
So it opens up with Sonic is in a helicopter, and then he's like, gotta go, and he jumps out. Like, is that at the end of Sonic Adventure 1? Like, he's captured by the military?
No, it is very much like just in res, just like he's been captured, he's getting out. That's all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was that he got captured because Shadow because the Dark Story had already started where Shadow had broken out and they captured Sonic.
See,
That's how I always took it.
I thought they captured Sonic at the end of that first level where before you fight the fighter jet.
Yeah, they captured him again.
Oh, okay.
But I
spends
could
a lot
have
of time
told
in
you.
jail.
I could have told you that the whale captured Sonic, and you would have believed me.
I would have, honestly. There's some crazy ass situations in this game where I'm like, oh, okay.
You're not wrong at all. It's a crazy ass game. Like, the story is just bonkers now when I look back at it.
It's pretty goofy.
It really feels they're like, all right, City Escape is the first level. Now, how do we get Sonic there? And they're like, he's captured by the military. All right, cool. Now, Knuckles has to explore this Pumpkin Hill zone. Like, how does he get there? I don't know. Rode a train. Oh, cool. Like,
it doesn't. Some levels do not make any sense at all.
Yeah. I also like in the. I don't know if it's just because I was on the PC version, but there was a lot of times during the cutscenes where like towards the end of the game, like I think it was the final mission where they're like talking about what they're gonna do, and then there's like 15 seconds of silence while like the camera is just like showing these other characters, and Knuckles is like kind of turning his head and stuff, and I was like, oh, no follow up to that plan. And I'm like, all right,
that was the PC version.
Okay,
because I didn't have those problems.
It added
that sounds a bit strange.
It added some just some comedy to it because it was just like the camera zooming in on Knuckles as he just kind of stared directly in it. Like,
I remember being so excited that Knuckles was in this game until I played his levels, and then I wasn't excited anymore. So there's 3 different sets of characters. The way that they play, like Sonic, are very much run around through a 3D level as fast as you can for the most part. You home attack on enemies. Where Knuckles levels are, you're in an open area and you have to go and find pieces of the Chaos Emerald. And you have a little tracker and you have to fly around and follow clues and find it. It's really stupid.
It's not fun.
No, I hate them.
I mean, as a first timer, it was not fun. Where like the clues were like, I don't really have any good
2
examples.
Towers. That's one of them.
Like it'd be like, oh, it's in the gray box on the desert island, and it's like, okay, where is this?
The Knuckles Rouge levels are unquestionably the least fun thing about the game.
You took the coolest character, Knuckles, and you put him in these stupid levels.
Yeah, I wish that it was more like parkour, where you're like gliding around over a bottomless pit, and then it's like, oh, you got to make it to there and climb up.
Knuckles also has really dumb levels, like the first one where you're in just, I don't even remember what it is. Kinda.
Yeah.
Wild Canyon is what it's called. Like, it's okay, but it's not, like, I don't really get it. I don't really get any of it. I mean, it makes more sense that he's in an Egypt type place than it does when you go to Pumpkin Hill. That place makes absolutely no sense for Knuckles. He's just in a giant place with a bunch of mountains that are pumpkins.
So this is where I'm going to fight you on this, because here's the thing. Pumpkin Hill's music is so good.
I was going to mention the Pumpkin Hill
that
rap.
It more than justifies its existence.
Is this the Knuckles rap song?
Yeah.
Like, all of his levels are rap songs, and they're just describing what Knuckles is doing in the level.
They're incredible. Okay. They're so good. No, it's a lot of random levels that are disconnected by the story, but it's also, I think it's like kind of, it all comes back into like what makes a Sonic game, and I don't really think that levels that are connected in a way that makes sense are necessary for that. If that makes sense, like that's always been Sonic's vibe. You just jump between different environments and you play the levels, and I think in that way, Adventure 2 very much feels traditional and like the natural 3D iteration of what a Sonic game would be. And Adventure 1 also very much does the same stuff, where it's just, here's a set of levels and we've come up with a thin story to justify why these characters are jumping between them.
So
I just didn't like Knuckles levels in general. I don't like searching for things.
Yeah.
I just didn't like that. I mean, it was more enjoyable this time playing the game than it was as a kid, but I just don't like them still.
Well, the problem...
I don't know why I like them, but I totally understand that.
The problem I had, because I Googled it, because I was just trying to find a walkthrough for these levels. So it's like the first level took me 20 minutes, and I was like, I don't want to waste 20 minutes every time I come across this level. And there's no good guides, and I found an explanation because the game chooses 3 random locations out of a total of 60 possible locations. And I was like,
a lot.
Why? was like, come on, man.
Oh yeah, like the thing is, like with speedrunners, or like when I used to play with my girlfriend at the time, she knew, like, she could look at one hint and knew exactly where to go because she was excelled at these levels.
Yeah,
That's wild.
And I got nothing. I went and looked at it and I'm just like, they give me clues and I'm like, these clues are terrible.
Yeah,
So,
anytime I came across a level, a Knuckles or Rouge level, I was just like, time to listen to a podcast while I just walk around this level waiting for the beep.
That all makes sense. The reason that I enjoy these levels is that I've played this game more times than I can count, and I know the locations in a general sense, but it is the one, these are the levels in the game that surprise me, where I don't know what's coming, and they're actually kind of challenging and interesting in a weird way, where it's like my broken brain is like, when I play a Sonic level or a Tails level, I know everything about it, every second that's going to happen, every enemy movement. When I play a Knuckles level, it still surprises me, it still throws me off, and I kind of look forward to that. It's weird.
I can understand it. Like you're enjoying the random element that the game has.
It's the only
to offer.
random element in the game,
Right.
exactly. So they still, I mean, we can get into this, but like the reason that Sonic Adventure 2 is so beloved by the fan base to this day is a lot of them, like me, grew up playing the game and grew up with not that many games to play, so they played a lot of it, right? And, got all those A's and unlocked Green Hill Zone and all that stuff. And when you've wired your brain to that degree, the game completely changes, and it like everything that you guys are saying is 100% valid, and like the exact experience of a first-time player of this game, and even a few times player of this game, and it makes total sense. But it's one of those things where it's like when you've got it down, like to the degree that your girlfriend has down, for example, a lot of this stuff just like fades away, and you get focused on like how precise the mechanics actually can be, which they kind of are, and how each level kind of feels accurate to play through in a degree that very few games do. Like you can blow through this thing and just you won't die, and it's incredibly satisfying. It's incredibly cool to just like fly through this thing.
Except I cheated, so I was okay, but I would have died a lot.
Yeah, like it. I don't know. I mean, and I'm not like saying this to brag. It's like it's a crazy person thing where it's like I've played this game so many times, but it's like I'll die like 4 or 5 times in a full playthrough of Sonic Adventure 2.
Dang.
And it's just blow through it. And it's
there isn't a whole lot of random, like even watching the speedrun, there's most of it is execution, and I mean what they do is insane because this game is completely broken. I never realized how broken until I watched speedruns.
Yeah.
A lot of the walls don't actually have collision if you go high enough.
That is true.
They only did collision up to a certain point, then they stopped doing collision. Like with the Tails levels, there's a pyramid level where they just fly through walls because they get high enough up and there's no collision.
Yeah.
Those Tails levels. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. It's like I don't know a ton of those exploits because they require some crazy stuff to execute. But even without the knowledge of that stuff, like there is I don't know, like there is a mechanical accuracy to the game that is hard to describe, where you can just like nail it every time.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I used to play this game all the time, like I was good at it. Like I was very good at the levels and getting through them. It just wasn't, I mean, now when I played it this time, I haven't played it in probably over 10 years. I would have played on the 360 for a little bit, but I don't think I finished it when the 360 port came out. And then I haven't went back to it since. I've been meaning to for years, but I didn't want to.
Yeah. But if you're when you miss things, it's frustrating, and it's a frustrating moment. And it's like, if you aren't like a crazy person who has played this game a million times, you miss things a lot, Yeah. So it quickly becomes a frustrating game. It's weird.
I mean, there's a lot to this game though. There's a lot of variety too. Like the fact you have 3 different type of missions where Tails is in a mech because that's what Tails does, I guess.
Yeah, that was like one of my first notes was just like, let's take this flying character and then put them in a mech. I was like, why are we doing that?
Yep, it's very odd. Like I remember, like I wasn't expecting shooting levels in a Sonic game.
Right.
I'm good at them. I still got A's in them, even when I wasn't really trying. I still knew like the general, because each character has a certain thing that helps them get A's. Like with Knuckles, your goal is to be as fast as you can with only reading 1 hint per emerald, because the more hints you read, it lowers your score. With Sonic, it's about being as fast as you can, but also grabbing a lot of rings and killing enemies where you can. And then when it comes to Tails, it's all about chaining enemies, where like when he highlights something, you'll see like ×1 or ×2, ×3. in order to get the high scores with him, you have to go and get like times 10 as much as you can to try to build up a huge score multiplier.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, stuff that I unfortunately did all. I remember getting up in the morning when my ex-girlfriend was sleeping, and then me and my dad were sitting there talking while I'm just sitting there playing Sonic Adventure 2 over and over again, trying to get A's and Tails levels and Robot and Eggman levels. And that's something I will never ever do again.
Sonic Adventure 1 had you playing as Tails in a more traditional way that you'd expect, but they're kind of, it's clear that like they didn't have the development budget to make whole other Sonic levels for Tails, so you are playing kind of shortened versions of Sonic's levels as Tails, so it's like replaying levels in Sonic Adventure 1. It's a bit weird.
Oh. I was going to ask if like you had like an Adventure 1 if you just played as Sonic, and then that's why they were like, oh, hey, look, you get like 6 different characters that you can play as with 3 gameplay variations, so...
No, Adventure 1 almost feels more ambitious than Adventure 2 in a lot of ways, where they've got like 6 different characters, but all of them have completely different levels.
Huh.
And it's going for a lot. And as a result, it often doesn't feel as good to play, in my opinion. And it actually loses a lot of that consistency and accuracy that I'm kind of trying to describe, that I know is tough to find in this game the first time you're playing it.
even after the first time in all these years, yes, it was.
Yes, yeah. But yeah, Adventure 1, replaying it, I still get frustrated. There are still moments where it's like, what happened to the homing attack there? It didn't work like it does most of the time. It's strange.
That's how I felt at the end of this game, fighting like the final boss. I was like, why are you not homing in? You're just like jumping towards the turtle and dying.
Right.
Like, come on.
Yeah. And I definitely have, I remember having those moments when I was playing the game for the first time.
A question for you, Reis. Is it, in Sonic Adventure, was Robotnik also turned into Eggman?
In Sonic Adventure 1. Yeah, I think he is called Eggman in that one too. Yeah.
Okay, because this was my first introduction to him being called Eggman. I remember like, that's Robotnik, not I am the Eggman.
Is he called Robotnik in the Genesis games?
Yes.
Why would they change it?
Because then the song wouldn't sound the same. I am Dr. Robotnik. That's what I am. It wouldn't sound the same, you know.
I didn't know there was a song.
Yeah, there's an Eggman song for one of his levels. I forget which one, but it's a song. Like when I made that joke quote to you at one point when
I thought you were just quoting the Beatles, but you know.
That's what it's an actual song called I Am the Eggman. That's what I am. I am the Eggman with the master plan. That's the song.
Yep.
And that's in Sonic Adventure 2?
Yes, it's in this game. It plays during the levels. You must have it muted or something.
I probably couldn't hear it over the goddamn sound effects in this game because they're so loud.
Well, the PC version sounds terrible, by the way.
Oh, good. I'm glad I played the definitive version of Sonic Adventure 2. It really heightened my enjoyment of the game.
Because, I mean, the GameCube ROM held up just like I remembered. I didn't have any issues. I didn't have any other than just the issues of the game itself, like just playing it and it giving me trouble and not homing attack on things that I wanted to, or just not cooperating. I mean, that's just the game itself. Even
my wife, like I had the sound on like 4, and she would just constantly look over and be like, those noises are the worst noises I've ever heard in my life. And I'm like, yeah, they're not great.
In your complete defense, even when the audio levels are correct, it is still a game that is filled with obnoxious noises. So
that's good. Like the fighter jet boss, like when you're Sonic, I was like, did they just go to an airfield and just record like an actual fighter jet? And they're like, just put it in the game.
I like that stage. Metal Harbor, I think, still holds up. Like all the stages that you do that are on the air characters, you do like 3 of them. You do one as Tails, Eggman, and Sonic. I think those are all still really good levels.
Yeah.
I mean, there are a lot of bad levels in this game, but those are not it, surprisingly.
They were okay.
Yeah, like I said, I can't speak objectively about this game at all, but I will say that Metal Harbor it's a special stage. It feels really good to play. And,
well, when you can run around fast as Sonic, it feels good still.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was one thing, any level that let me just run around and not feel like I was going to die. Like Green Forest as Sonic and Shadow, they both kind of have the same level. Like that level, you feel like you're going to die every second. Like you just could fall off to your death.
Some of those half pipes are shaky.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
as I watch speedruns, I found out that they actually don't have real collision for them, like behind them.
Yep.
Like one thing that people do is speedruns, they'll jump off something and go through the half pipe through the back of it to get to it.
Yeah.
Like, God, this game has so many like holes in it that you don't realize till you watch speedrunners break it.
Yeah.
One of the most annoying things that kept happening to me, because I died a whole lot in this game, but like I would die and I'd be like, okay, I don't know what else I could have done differently there. And the Chow will be like, oh, you need to use your homing attack, Sonic. And I'm like, I was.
Yeah, I tuned the Chow out. That thing's super annoying. We should talk Chow Garden a little bit, though.
Yeah, I do want
just
to.
for the sake of for the sake of holding up that side of the game.
Explain it to me, because I went there twice and I was like, I picked up a Chow and I was like, okay, what do I do with you? And there was nothing, like the game wasn't like, oh, you should go put him in the watering hole.
Right.
I just carried it around and then I said, I'm going to leave now. Like,
Yeah, there's no direction provided to the player in the Chow Garden.
Was the Chow Garden in the original version? Oh, okay, it must be the original version because he wasn't playing battle. So
I believe it was in the original game. Yes.
okay,
It's possible they might have added a couple things to it in battle or something.
tutorials.
Yeah, no,
no, there's no tutorials. I like with the Chow when I first got there, I couldn't remember how to hatch them, so my solution was pick up the egg and I threw it across the zone until it hatched.
Yep, you can do that.
Is that what you're supposed to do?
I believe there is possible. So it's been a while since I've done Chow
Okay.
stuff. I need to be clear about that. I think there is another way to hatch it that's nicer.
But throwing them across the zone did work.
I
Just
should've
The
tried
Chow
that.
thing is like they are basically Tamagotchi, right? And you bring them the items that you collect within the game, and it changes their stats. It changes what they look like because as they consume the animals that you bring them from the game, makes them look like the animals that you bring them. So you can like fully customize what they look like, and you can design your weird dragon Chow if you want to just collect dragons in the levels or whatever.
and don't give them bats because they lose their leg.
See, I thought-
stuff like that.
I thought those animals I was collecting was just like a callback to, the original games
It
where you kill
is,
an
but-
enemy and then they just like turn into a random animal.
It also serves a purpose.
Yes. Yeah. So it makes the Chows look like whatever animal you're bringing it. You want to bring it dragons because they look cool. If you are nice to the Chows and you pet them, and like there are different events you can enter them in, like tug of war and like stuff like that. I'm
Karate.
gonna misremember this stuff because it has been a while, and I wasn't expecting to be the.
There's
more
races, there's karate. Those
you.
I remember for sure. You do it to earn emblems, because if you're going for all the emblems, or as you unlock more emblems in the game, you unlock more stuff in the game.
Yep.
So it's a way to get more emblems without and like it's probably it's one thing I would do is I would keep replaying this game, because as you replay the levels, you get these crystals. Crystals will enhance the Chow stats, and then the animals also will enhance the Chow stats, but all animals will raise some stats and lower some stats. They can't lose a level so long as they level up. They don't lose anything from that stat. Same thing as like mini RPG type styles. So the idea is to find the animals that will complement different stats, and then lower ones that don't matter at the time, then you raise them. But there's so much to it, like. And also, like he was saying, if you pet it, if you pet the Chow but use like just hero Chows, or not hero Chow, but hero characters, the Chow will then evolve and get a halo above his head and become a hero Chow, and you open up another garden above you in that same area that you warp to when you go to the Chow Garden. And
Yes.
if you do it with the dark characters, you unlock another garden that looks like a devil's garden and has like all spooky stuff, and that goes on, and that will have a stairway leading down in that level, in that area, in that lobby that you teleport to.
There's one crucial twist, which is that you can use a hero character to create Dark Chow by throwing them against walls.
Oh.
So you just throw them. You just throw them against things. You throw them in the water. You throw them against walls, and slowly they turn evil. And it's the best.
So I realize you guys didn't play the Dreamcast version of the game, but could you put the Chows in the Dreamcast VMU and take them around with you? Do you think that was kind of there on the Dreamcast version, or does anyone know?
I kind of doubt it. I don't know for sure, but I'd be surprised if that was functionality in the game.
Same. I don't know either. I Dreamcast is one of the systems that I have never really interacted with. I have played one Dreamcast game in my life.
I don't even think they are real because I've never seen one. So,
well, when I played, it was on emulation. I played Canis Flake, but there's an episode about Mega Man's in that game, by the way. Don't play it, by the way.
The GameCube version does have a Game Boy Advance connector thing in its Chow lobby.
Oh, really?
Yes, but I think it
I
just
don't know what
gives
it's for.
you special chow.
Oh, okay.
Because in the Game Boy Advance, you can get certain eggs that you can't get in this game in Sonic Advance 1 that you can then transfer the eggs over.
Nice.
That's wild.
There's a lot to the Chow Garden, and there's a lot to it. Like, as you win races and you win the different events that the game has, you get to unlock stuff. Like, as you notice in every level, when you finish a level, you have X amount of rings that you have. It goes into a bank. You actually have a store you can go to in the Chow Garden and buy different eggs and buy costumes for your chows to wear, like hats and stuff.
Yeah, it's very involved.
I mean, it's like what I used to do. I remember there were levels I would just play over and over again just to get rings and then use the rings to buy stuff in the black market.
See, I thought you could just go there and be like, "What's up, Chow?" and then you would just leave.
Yeah, there's a lot to it. Like, I mean, part of it was you would raise your chow and you could battle other people's chows.
Wow, they really went for it with those.
Oh yeah, I mean the
guys.
Chow Guard is what I spent. I mean, when I used to play this game all the time, I had multiple chows that were hugely powerful in the different gardens.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember playing. I mean, I played this game nonstop for a summer. Like, this game was everything to me for a summer. It will never happen again. I could never.
Frankly, I haven't touched a Chow Garden since I was a kid because I don't care.
Yeah.
You know.
I can't either. I know. The other
All your
guests that
chows are turning evil right now, Reis. Doesn't care
get
about
thrown
us.
out.
Fine with it. It's like the Animal Crossing town that's growing grass. I don't care.
It's just cool what you can do with the chows. Like, it's such a cool thing to add gameplay to this. Like, another thing we hadn't mentioned about the game, besides there being 2 stories, there's also every level has 5 missions that you can do. One being beat the level normally. Next one is get 100 rings. The next one is called Find the Missing Chow, which you have to find these little like huts, these little like stone symbols in the level, and then whistle, which ability you have to find.
That's what the whistle does.
Yes. It does not tell you that, by the way. And then
No.
the 4th one is beat the level in a certain amount of time. And the 5th one is always the hard mode of a level where the level is harder. Like, they take out areas, they add more enemies, they do whatever they can to make you suffer.
Oh, right. That was the version I played.
But I mean, there's just so much to this game.
It's big. I think it's helped by not having an overworld, which Adventure 1 has.
Oh, wow.
And the overworld in Adventure 1 can feel really confusing and sloppy. So I think, narrowing things down was a smart choice.
I agree. I haven't really played one, but I remember like I started up one day and I just didn't understand it and I didn't like it and I turned it off right away and never went back to it
It's
yet.
very easy to quickly get lost in one and just be like, I don't know where I need to be going right now.
Where in 2, it just drops you in the level, and then there's a level select mode, which is like a big map that shows you where all the different levels took place. And you just pick what you want to do.
I didn't even see that screen.
That's
Basically,
okay.
I just played through the game, and then as soon as I hit credits, I said I did it.
Outside of that menu, like when you beat the game, you also unlock boss rush modes for Hero and Dark Story. And
Just
those are for emblems also.
Wanting to replay all those.
I did. I mean,
Is that something that, like, the Sonic community is like, oh, Adventure 2, those bosses are really good? Because, like, every boss I fought, except for, like, 1 or 2, I was just like, man, this is just, like, not fun.
Yeah, I feel weird speaking for the Sonic community because I wouldn't say that I'm, like, a member of the Sonic community in a weird and hardcore way, but, like, I don't like those bosses mostly.
They're bad.
I think a couple of them are fine.
Egg Golem on Hero's side, I thought was
that's a good boss fight.
I was like, you know what, that is kind of fun. But the dark version of Egg Golem, I was like not having any fun.
No, it's so stupid. Like
for the most part, like it's one of those things where it's like I know these levels so well that like I can get through the boss fights in seconds and they're nothing to me. And so it's like I don't care. They're bad.
I mean, most of them are just fighting the other characters, which are real simple. You just punch the other character.
Yeah.
You have a couple that are repeats.
Shadow fight. Oh, sorry.
Like you fight this Bigfoot thing once with Shadow and once with Sonic.
Yeah.
It's almost the same fight with a little different patterns.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that fight sucks, and it takes forever because the animation for flying takes forever to land. The Sonic versus Shadow fight in the green forest area, you just roll into Shadow. It's very easy, but it's like you don't know that until you have played the game enough times to realize you just roll into him.
What about the last Sonic and Shadow fight where you're running down the straight path?
Yeah, you have to like let the opponent run forward a bit until they stop running. They do a move, you homing attack through the move.
Oh my god!
Just hit them.
Let me tell you what I did. I mashed jump And every time he deflected me, I just mashed jump again until finally he stopped deflecting me, and I was like, gotcha.
That sounds annoying. But yeah, it's like one of those things where it's like, how could you know to do that, right? Like, they're not well designed for the most part.
They're also unnecessary. I mean, A Golem is the only good one, I think.
When you fight Robotnik as Tails, and then Tails as Robotnik, like in the after
Space Station?
Robotnik. Yeah, in the space station, sorry. Yeah, that fight was I was so frustrated with that one when I first played it as Tails, because I was like, I don't know how I can shoot him faster than he uses his special move on me. Like, I was like jumping up and down and just trying to.
Those fights are kind of a nightmare.
Okay.
And usually one of my deaths is at least attributed to that fight. Yeah,
that laser will murder you if you get caught by it.
Yep.
Yeah, multiple times, or so I hear from sources.
Even with Safe States, it caught me once too. I was like, what the fuck?
And then Tails uses it against you. I was like, no, this is unfair. I was like, I did not have that move.
Because they just reused the fight. They didn't really do a whole lot. I mean, this game has that's really what... This game has a very good habit of reusing things as much as it can.
Yes.
Yeah, which, I mean, I'm sure that was, like, development stuff. Like, as far as, like, we have Robotnik in the mech, so we can just put Tails in the mech, and then we don't have to, give Tails, like, special animation or anything like that. We can just swap. I'm not a game developer at all, so...
No, I mean, that's what it was. I mean, they only have so much money and so much budget and so much time to do it, so... You do what you have to do. I mean, it works. I mean, it's just like with the boss fights, I would have rather had more unique boss fights than the same stuff reused as much as I did. Or just not have them.
I think
like
sometimes
one
the
fight
it works, like Pumpkin Hill Zone to Shadows Zone, that is reusing all those assets is actually like feels like a very different level.
I hate that level, by the way.
Shadows,
I forget what it's called, but that one I died a lot because I would just fall off things, or you have to home on these fans and you bounce up, and sometimes when I do the home attack, it just went, you don't want to hit the fan, do you? No, you want to go over the edge. Yeah, you want to go this way. I'm like, no, what are you doing?
Yeah. There are some particular jumps in that level that are like, I don't know what they were thinking there. Yeah.
But I mean, the Sonic levels and Shadow levels are still fun, I think, because you run so fast and you just move through things and you bounce off enemies and you chain things together. They're still fun. I mean, I did have fun with this game, I should say. It just wasn't what I remembered.
Yeah. Every time, I mean, I don't want to just be the downer on this game, but every time I felt like I was having fun with the game, for instance, the camera would be like, nope, this is like, you can only look at Tails from this angle and you have to jump off an edge. Like, good luck. And use the hover to slow your descent. And I was like, see, that's not fun. Don't make me do this, man. But yeah, like every time I was like, okay, I can kind of see why this is fun. Like I am kind of enjoying myself. The game would find a way to just be like, oh, sorry, like we accidentally left that fun bit in here.
You're not wrong. I mean, the game does its fair share of making things not fun for me this playthrough.
Yeah. No, everything you're saying is true and valid. And
one thing we haven't mentioned yet is that you actually get character upgrades for all the characters throughout the game. You might not have found them all, but like there's different shoes for Sonic. There's just different things that you get. Some of the game makes you get, and some are also secret that you have to go out of your way to get later on. I don't remember all of them.
What do the shoes do? Do they just like...
The shoes let him light dash or ring dash.
The light dash. Yeah, I got that.
Well,
is that not a necessary? Oh, okay. I was gonna say, is that not a necessary one? Because
no, that's necessary.
It's just like.
So is the bouncing bracelet. So is the thing that lets him break through through the steel block. And there's also the whistle. I'm
guessing that because his Knuckles, I got the air necklace, and like on the final level where your Knuckles and you're swimming through, they kept having air bubbles, and I was like, oh, I wonder if that was not a necessary item.
It's not.
But God, this level would be a nightmare without it. Like.
When I was a kid and I played this game, I got all the upgrades. I did everything in this game I almost could because it's just how much I loved playing this game. Now I couldn't be bothered. Like Alyssa, our other guest who was almost on this episode, but unfortunately she got sick. She was like, "Oh, you need to go through, play through all the missions." I'm just like, "Okay." And then I played through this game and I'm like, "Fuck no, I'm done." I'm like, I don't want any more Sonic.
Yeah, when I do my very quick yearly playthrough of this game, I don't get any of the upgrades that aren't super necessary. The air necklace is one that I get every time because
I got it by accident.
That one just seems necessary because
it is. It's also hidden in Knuckles' worst level that is the hardest to navigate.
And you have to
Aquatic
swim
mine.
through a tunnel filled with water. And
Yeah.
Oh man.
It's bad level design.
It's a really bad level. It's the only level in the game that still like fully I don't enjoy, trips me up, even though I know this game by heart. It's like that level sucks.
Oh, another fun thing about the collision in this game, like in the Eggman levels, when you knock down the pillars, when the pillars are falling, you can jump through the pillars. They don't do anything. They don't have collision on the bottom.
That's wild.
Yeah, I think like some of the camera stuff is like, I mean, I totally understand that. Of course, it's frustrating, but it's also like, oh man, it was 2001, you know? And I mean, Jack and Daxter came out that year, and that is a big revolution for 3D platforming for sure. But we still have like Mario Sunshine hitting the year after that, and that has its own weird camera issues. So it's just kind of also like, it's part of the times in a way.
Yeah, but also like Mario 64's camera, I felt, was better than this game's camera.
I agree.
I felt like I was consistently fighting. Yeah, I was consistently fighting this camera, where in Mario 64, like when I replayed it, when that collection on the Switch came out, like I was fighting it, but it didn't feel as often as like in this game, where I was like, I just want to look ahead where I'm going. And then as soon as I would position the camera where I needed it to be, and then I'd move, and the camera would just like fling back to where it was. And I would be like, oh shit. And I'd get scared. And like I'd jump and like move, and I'd jump off the edge. And I'm like, well, all right. Like, I won't do that again.
The camera's the boss in this game, the secret boss.
I do agree with that. I think Mario 64's camera is like weirdly good, like for its time, especially. It's insane.
Yeah.
This one is not.
But probably with Mario 64, they just had more time to work on the camera than these guys might have had. Where
that's possible. Yeah.
One level I do want to talk about that still holds up really well is Radical Highway. That's I think Shadow's first level.
Yeah.
That level is still fun as hell. I don't like most of Shadow's levels, but Radical Highway is still a ton of fun to play.
Yeah, it's a very fun one.
It held up well. I mean, I don't like his one where he's in the Pumpkin Hill area, whatever that's called. I don't like the Green Forest ones, but I really enjoyed Radical Highway still. Mm-hmm. I had fun playing that level. I also like just the fact that the city's the military's trying to kill Sonic and Shadow, and how they confuse, like the whole story is that Shadow breaks out of jail because of Eggman, and they confuse Sonic for Shadow. They're like, well, they're a hedgehog, who cares, different color, it's the same guy, get him, kill him. And I think I like my Sonic more when it's surrounded by animal friends, anamorphic type things. Like you look at like the Sonic comics or the Sonic cartoon. I like my Sonic like that. I don't really like my Sonic with real people. I've realized too.
The craziest thing in this game, and I audibly said, "What the fuck?" was when at the end of the game, I don't remember who calls her out on it, but they're like, "Oh, Rouge the Bat, you're a government spy." And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Didn't see that coming, did you?
No.
It's almost as good as ending your game with "Yes, Mr. President." Almost that good, isn't it? Finding out she's a government spy.
I don't think so.
I know.
Hedgehog.
It's so stupid.
Yeah.
Have we all played The Last of Us 2?
I have.
I have.
Okay, I won't spoil anything.
I know majority of it, so it doesn't.
Okay, skip ahead like a minute if you're like, oh, I haven't played that game yet. But I took the note that there's a boss fight in Last of Us 2 where you play as the antagonist, and I was like when I played it, I was like, oh, that's really cool. I don't think I've ever done that in a video game before. That's really dope. And then I played this game, and I was like, oh, Naughty Dog stole it from this one. Like,
every game feeds back into Adventure 2 somehow.
Somehow.
That's hilarious, though. It's all because of Sonic 2 opened your eyes that it wasn't that revolutionary.
Yeah.
It was all Sonic 2 that started it.
I went back and I docked points.
I mean, it is. I do got to say, it is cool the fact that you do have the two different stories. Like the fact that you have so many levels. I mean, yes, they do reuse levels in a way, but they feel unique enough when they are close to the same thing.
Mostly, yeah.
There was only one level It was the level where you drive a car, where you have to chase down a car, where I felt that was like pretty much the exact same level.
But hey, one has more holes in it than the other.
That's true, yeah.
And did you do the other modes where you have to beat the level without hitting any cars or without hitting any walls? I know,
no.
But that's what the other missions are for that one. I actually did the no car one for some reason. I'm just like, then I said to myself, what am I doing? And then I stopped. That was the end of that.
Yeah, don't do that.
I was like, why am I going for other emblems? I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like, what am I doing? The
secret to that level is if you just constantly drift at all times, which you can do by just tapping A, you just kind of like slide back and forth. But if you smack into a wall, the game doesn't register it as a collision in the same way. And you just kind of bounce off of the wall in this weird way that makes it so you can play the level really fast. Fun fact.
Yeah, this game is so broken. This is one of those games that when you watch speedruns of it, like everyone should, and you just see all the holes in this game, and I'm like, my God, this game is just broken.
But like in a fun way most of the time.
Yeah, no, it's all playable. I mean, you can easily play this game and enjoy it. Like it hasn't aged that best, unfortunately.
Yeah,
it shows its age for 3D platformers. It really does.
Yeah.
And that was one of my, I think, biggest problems with it. Plus, my nostalgia for this game was so, like, this was a game that before I played it, I would have rated as one of my, like, top 20 games easily. And then I replayed it, and I'm like, no. But, so, I mean, that's one of my issues why I had more of a problem with it this playthrough, because it didn't hold up to my memories of it were so great. And then I played it, and I'm like, oh, no.
Oh, there was one part where I don't remember what level it is, but I was a Tails in the mech, and I don't know if it was I don't know if I broke the game or if it was intentional, but towards the end of the level, Tails started like doing that float in the air that happens when you're like above a fan when you're like Sonic or Shadow or Knuckles.
That's part of the game.
That's part of the game? Okay.
Yeah,
I thought I broke it, and I was like, what the hell? Like, well, no, I was in a forest, and I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, did I accidentally break it? And like I floated that way to the goal. And I was like,
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's in the first Tails like space level, and it's just kind of yeah, it is, but it's just kind of an empty gap, and you just kind of roll your way forward, and it is very strange.
Yeah, I thought I did, like, I thought I just hit like one of the jump pads wrong, or like I did something, and I was like, oh no.
And I have a question for Reis. It wasn't until this couple days, like yesterday, I learned this. Did you know there's a secret character in this game in every stage?
Yeah, are we talking about Mr. Big the Cat?
Yeah, I never knew that. I have played this game so many times, and it wasn't until yesterday when I was watching the speedrun, he said, and they showed off that Big the Cat is in every level hidden somewhere.
Yep,
it's
pretty good.
I found him in Pumpkin Hill Zone as Knuckles behind a wall, and I was trying so hard because I thought I had to free him or something. I was like, oh, I need to free you, and you'll give me a Chaos Emerald. So I was like, trying to like reroute the train, and I was like, I don't understand how that gets there. Like, yeah,
it's just an Easter egg for some
chilling,
reason.
Dude.
Yeah, he just hangs out in every level.
But I was just so surprised that I never knew that. All the times I have played this game, I have never once known he was in this game. And I was really shocked.
When you're playing it on a 480i TV or whatever, he's a lot harder to catch. And when you're playing it on these nice HD versions, it's like, oh, there he is.
It was on a fat tube TV and a small tube TV when I played this game back in the day.
Yeah, exactly.
The way it was meant to be played. On shitty hardware, drinking Pepsi and eating Tostitos in the 2000s. Way the game was meant to be played. Another level that I want to mention that I still really like is the weapons bed level when you are Eggman and you're running around on these air carriers and just blowing up tons and tons of military vehicles that are just not active for some reason. Like I actually really enjoyed that level. And I actually got an A on that too. I knew what to do.
Yeah, that's a good one. I didn't hate that one. I liked there's a boss you fight, the King of the Ghosts, and the legally distinct King Boom Boo. I was like, all right, I see you.
I don't like that boss.
No, that boss sucks, but
it's not great.
His name is good.
It's a good name.
He's really hard for, like, I remember getting killed by him many times when I was younger, but he wasn't that hard to play through.
He's not hard. Yes. It just takes too long, and it's like 5 rounds. It's just like, geez, did we have to do 5 full rounds of this? Okay.
Welcome to 2002.
Yeah.
As a guy who's played a lot of 2002 games, there's something about that era of gaming where it's like, let's take something and make it extra long because that's it.
For sure.
Metroid Prime, for example, we're going to take our final boss and we're going to make you fight him on 4 different levels and deplete 5 different life bars. Why? Why not?
So, hey, that boss fight's cool.
Metroid Prime?
I love Metroid. That was my first Metroid game.
Have you played it recently? The boss fight?
No, I'm waiting until they eventually release it for the Switch.
You and me,
good game, but that boss fight it reeks of this year. 2002 is a year of stuff of that because I don't like the year 2002.
You get to jump into the Phazon, and that's cool.
Not if you die. Not cool when you got to redo that whole part again. There's another level that I hated as a kid, but played this time and actually really enjoyed, surprisingly, which is the security hall level is Rouge, where you're actually collecting Chaos Emeralds and not pieces of the master.
It's her best level.
The one where you have 5 minutes?
Yes.
No.
Yeah. It's a good level.
I was when Eggman was like, set the timer for 15 minutes. I was like, all right, I can do this. And Rouge just like, I only need 5. I was like, fuck off, no. Like, it's like, don't make me do this.
I like it. I was surprisingly how much I liked it because I was dreading the level and I actually had fun with this level. Like, it's just the layout and the way it is. It was fun for some reason to me.
Yeah, I also think the theme is, you're doing a break, a bank vault break-in, which is kind of her whole thing, which is kind of exciting. It's fun. It doesn't feel like a completely random adventure level.
Yeah, but she's also a government agent, so couldn't she just be like...
Yeah, that stuff makes no sense.
I know where these are. Like,
But you're not supposed to know that yet. I forgot that she was, like... It does make no sense, because the next game that takes place after this is Sonic Heroes, and she's with the Team Dark still.
You also see the president? You saved Mr. President?
Oh, we haven't even gotten to how cuckoo the story is in this game. The whole story is that Eggman is trying to follow his grandfather's footsteps and find out what the ultimate life form was, who
is named Gerald Robotnik. So
yes.
Somewhere along the way, he said, "Oh no, it's Eggman now."
And like the whole, and that's what led to all this problem is he goes in, he breaks out Shadow from this government prison, and then and then Shadow goes and breaks a big military gear, and they think Shadow is Sonic because they can't tell the damn difference. And they they arrest Sonic multiple times. Tails breaks Sonic out of prison. And then the story eventually progresses to you trying to get to a space station because they activated a giant laser and blew up half of the moon, and now they're going to blow up Earth.
That was no moon.
And I mean, not to mention if you blew up the moon, I mean, even half the moon, how much everything we get screwed up on our Earth because of, gravitational, but yeah, that doesn't matter in Sonic World. And like the whole idea is that you're then trying to get up, and then they deactivate the laser, and you find out that the whole time, and then you have a whole video of some guy in a straitjacket, chained up, somehow got the ability to record information at the same time, somehow, while you're tied up,
I thought that was his grandpa.
Yeah, that was, but somehow he recorded a video and put a virus in there something where he took control and was going to destroy the world because they were mean to him.
Yeah, it's nonsense.
Yeah, that part I was confused.
You're meant to be.
I was like, because then Robotnik / Eggman is like, oh, we got to stop that, and I was like, hey, wait a second,
because he just wanted to use it for money, or essentially to get power and threaten it. Now that it's going to destroy the world, who's going to pay you when everybody's dead? But Gerald was upset that they locked him in a straitjacket, so somehow he took control and, was going to destroy the world. Because they killed Maria. There's some little story at some point where the government went up there and killed everybody, and they killed Maria, and that's why Shadow is like, how Shadow it?
Oh.
I don't remember if they show it, though. Do they show it at all? But I know that happened.
I know who Maria is.
Okay.
But
it's all implied.
Maria's just some girl who was on the station who loved Shadow and helped Shadow. Yeah, something I don't really know. It doesn't matter.
Like I know who Maria is because he was constantly like
Maria, like that.
Yeah, from West Side Story. And but I was like, is she a scientist? Like, what is she doing here?
I got nothing. She was somehow related to Gerald Robotnik, right?
Yeah, I thought she was related. I thought she was like the granddaughter or something. It doesn't flippin' matter. It's a ridiculous
It does.
plot.
I am waiting
is-
for Vati Vidya to do a Sonic Adventure 2 lore video.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
The
I mean,
thing
The
is,
series keeps
like-
going though.
it's a ridiculous plot, but when you're a 12-year-old kid, it's pretty cool, and you don't care, you don't care about you don't even want to think about all the confusing stuff that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You're just it's cool hedgehogs doing cool stuff. So I think in a way it succeeds at what it's doing, which is being a kid's game story and doing cool anime crap,
I mean, it's really
So
stupid.
Are
But it's
all
fun.
of so does Sonic the Hedgehog the series as a whole, Sonic 1 is the beginning, and then Sonic, I think the last one was Forces, is the most current story? Or do they have is Sonic Adventure games
You're
their
looking-
own lore series?
There's different Sonics. 3D Sonic is a different Sonic than the Sonic that you're thinking of from the original series.
Well, okay, a different Sonic altogether, or just
Different Sonic altogether.
Oh, okay.
In Sonic Generations, they meet from the two different multiverses.
Oh, I do remember that from the marketing.
But there's not Sonic doesn't really have a overarching story. Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 might kind of connect. There's lots of billboards that talk about Chow,
Mhm.
that show the Mega Chow, which is a boss from Sonic Adventure 1, correct?
Well, I meant in Sonic Adventure 2, is Sonic just hey man, I destroyed all of your robots in Sonic the Hedgehog 1 through 3. I'm gonna stop you, man. Don't you remember that?
I think it's different Sonic. It's definitely a different Sonic from classic to the 1s and 3Ds.
I will say it's certainly never completely clear, and I think Sega kind of knows that and has even leaned into it. There's almost an implication that it's just I don't know, man. It's like Mario. It's just Sonic.
Hey, there's a Mario timeline that somebody on one of those YouTube channels put together. Does that count?
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't.
It's not the same as the Zelda timeline, where Nintendo officially said, sure.
Zelda timeline makes sense though. Mario can't have
a little bit.
Sort of.
As a big Zelda fan,
it's all
a
on
little
shaky
bit.
ground.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Zelda fan, so I'm going to say it makes sense. No, I know what you mean. It works just because it's generations and generations and hundreds of years later. Where yeah, sure, okay, I can believe it.
Right.
Mario is the same Mario and Peach every time, no matter what.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
so
I
can't
think
believe
I think Sega kind of approaches it as it's just Sonic on another adventure, but then maybe at some point they decide we'll throw this thing in there, and that's how they connect.
Okay.
I take it as different Sonics each time. Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, I'm assuming is the same continuation of the same story in a way.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sonic 1 through 3 is going to be the same Sonic versus
Yes.
yeah, I get it.
That's how
I was just curious if Sega was oh no, this is all one Sonic doing all of these things, and
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think.
At one point, Adventure 2 does mention a location from Adventure 1.
Oh,
They mention Central Street or something like that, and it's that's the main hub from Adventure 1.
I do really want to play Adventure 1 just because I have bought it multiple times and it's I really should one day play this.
Is that on
It's,
Steam?
Yes.
It is on Steam. If you have an Xbox, I would recommend that version sooner.
Well, it'd be the
I do
GameCube
not.
version I'll be playing.
Or
a
that.
PC.
That works too, yes.
I own the GameCube version. I bought it back in the day. I own this on PC. I actually have a free code. You know what? Thank you. You reminded me. We're going to do that free code shortly.
Cool.
Once I look it up. I'll talk what I've always wanted to play Sonic Adventure 1. I just can't bring myself to do it.
It has very positive on Steam.
I mean, I have a fun time playing Adventure 1. I think it has some high highs and it has even more low lows than 2.
All right, here is the Steam code for Sonic Adventure DX for those out there that want it. The Steam code is DTYDF47LFRZ6CCL. There is your code for Sonic Adventure DX for anyone out there who wants it. There you go, people. I did something for you again. I need to get rid of these codes. So it would have been the Sonic Adventure 2 code, but I gave that already away. So
Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. You got to enjoy this game for the first
I
time.
also love that it's like right after I finished being like, yeah, it's not as good as 2.
Sonic Adventure sucks.
No, it's fine. It's, you know what? I mean, you don't, it's nostalgic. If you have nostalgic for this game, then it's something else. Like, I do want to talk about the 2 space levels for Knuckles and Rouge and how miserable they are.
The Rouge one is like arguably the worst of the 2. Like the Knuckles one was fine. That was just like another, okay, I gotta find the emeralds. But the Rouge one I felt was just like a little
planets. There's different planets in it that have different gravity, and the hints slide you. At first, the hints are backwards. I thought the game was like screwed up on me because I'm playing a ROM, and then the hints slide you. It says the highest location. It means the lowest spot. Yeah.
Which there is a Chow at the beginning that is just like, oh, there's something going crazy with the hint detector. Be careful.
But yeah, I don't like all my Chows either. The little guys that give you hints, I'd kick them sometimes.
But like I agree, the gravitational pull on the planets, because like there was one planet I was stuck on for like 5 minutes as Rouge because I could just not figure out how to get off of the pole. I was like, I need to go down there. Like I need to leave this planet, and you will not let me.
It was really annoying. It was not my favorite at all.
No. It's like textbook definition of like one of these levels that just gets too ambitious with what it's trying to do, and it's just way too much.
And also, Eggman's last level is really freaking annoying. The Cosmic Wall, it's called, where you're in space. I mean, you just...
Okay, I want to talk Cosmic Wall, because I love the reversal of floating upward.
Okay, that is cool. It's a very long level, and then when you're trying to go for A's on this level, it can be annoying.
Which one is that? Is that the one where you can like hold A to hover up?
Yes.
Okay. That one was fine.
I mean, it's so many enemies in this level, and for some reason, my brain still felt the need to try to lock in as many as you could and get high points for no reason at all. So that made it more annoying for me because I was having flashbacks.
That does sound kind of annoying, but on the whole, I don't know. I really like that level.
It's a cool level. I had flashbacks of when I did this, and I felt the need to try to do that again. And I looking back, I don't know why.
Yeah,
I think the levels that I struggled with the most. Oh, sorry. The last levels for Sonic and Shadow. Like, I beat both of those with 1 life left. I was just sweating bullets the entire time because, like, on Sonic's level, sometimes I would jump off of a rail and aim for another rail, and Sonic would just pass through. I was like, okay. And then Shadow's twirly tubes where you're just locked in and you just, like, gain momentum quickly, and then you have to jump from like one to another and like, you know, avoid enemies or obstacles and stuff. Like those were very intense levels, and I found myself like not liking them by the end, where I was just like, please God, do not let me die. Like I do not want to do this level over.
They are super intense Sonic and Shadow levels. Like, I mean, Final Rush and Final Chase, when you're on these bars and you're you know, grinding and you're above space, just they're very epic levels, though. They're very epic ways to finish the stories, but they are hard.
But like the biggest improvement that Sonic ever made to its like core gameplay was adding the ability to just jump between rails and not freaking die. Because boy, are those moments rough in this game. And like, you know, there's a trick to it where it's like if you let go of the stick completely and you just hold A for like a solid full moment, you're kind of going to hover in the air, and you can kind of use that to like move over to the next rail safely, but it's like it's still bad. It's not well thought out. It's not fun. It's really harrowing, like you said. It's really risky every time you do it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the levels. I didn't enjoy them as much when I played them back in the day, but when I played them this time, well, one, I was cheating. I have to put that out there. I did enjoy Sonic's level more than Shadow's, because Shadow has the stupid things you had like float up on, but I had fun doing it. Like I actually played this level in a car. I was over last week, and I took my wife to go visit her aunt who's in a assisted living, and it was a small apartment. I couldn't find a place to sit, so I went back to my car and sat in my car with my laptop just playing this, and it was fun. I mean, I was like, besides those levels being annoying me, like sitting in freezing to death, it was actually pretty fun playing this.
Did it feel like the car was moving with how fast you were going in the game?
It did not. I had the car running, but it was like freaking -3 outside or something, so it was damn cold. But it was just one of those weird situations where I'm just like, here I am beating Sonic in a car, sitting somewhere up north in northern Minnesota, and I just sitting there playing Sonic Adventure 2. I'm like, what year is it? Like, what the hell is going on? It was just one of those weird situations, like, where you don't think you'll be beating a game and you're sitting in a car waiting for somebody. It's not what you expect. I just wanted to share that with the people who listen to this episode. But no, I still enjoyed it. Like I was playing this on an Xbox. No, I played this on a game controller. I actually pulled out my USB game controller to play this game because it felt right. So
yeah, I tried to play with mouse and keyboard because I didn't think that a controller, like, because Steam is like, oh, it's only partial controller support.
What?
Yeah, but like I plugged in my DualShock and it was like, we don't know what this is. And then I downloaded, I don't know what it's called, but it basically makes your DualShock register as an Xbox controller. So I downloaded that and then played the game that way. But mouse and keyboard controls, like, it lists like every button is an action button, and I was like, what action am I doing? Like,
surprise.
Playing this game with mouse and keyboard sounds like my actual nightmare.
I can't imagine playing this on mouse and keyboard.
Me neither. I'm really glad I didn't have to.
This game wouldn't be possible, I feel, on mouse and keyboard. But then again, I'm also the guy that beat Super Ghouls and Ghosts with save states on mouse and keyboard, so I got nothing.
Yeah, I mean, someone's beaten Dark Souls in some ridiculous way. I'm sure that you can Sonic Adventure 2 with mouse and keyboard, but it's probably
there's some person listening to this and be like, "Oh, mouse and keyboard is the way to play the game."
Yeah, that's
I don't understand.
And then after you beat all the levels in the game, all the hero and dark stories, then you get to unlock a last story, which is I mean, it's cool to have a level where they all team up together because they're trying to stop the cannon from going off, even though that was the whole plan, as Nate said earlier. But it is a cool level. Like, it's kind of cool to play as each of the characters.
I kind of wish that was the entire game with the characters, like where the levels you switched between, like, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. Like, as you move through a level, like, it's like, oh, I can't do this part. Knuckles, can you, like, get that switch and I'll move on? I
got a game for you, Nate.
No.
Sonic Heroes. You know what that is?
Really? I've heard of Sonic Heroes.
Sonic Heroes is you have 3-person teams and you can switch who's in front, and then you can use some of their special abilities.
Oh, that's cool. They listened to me. They took my feedback.
We can say it's cool, but no, you are right. That would have been cool to have more missions like the last story in this game.
Yeah.
It's cool until you play the same game 4 times to beat the game, and then it's less cool.
And then it's less cool.
He's not wrong, by the way, either.
Yeah.
He's not lying to you.
Is that Sonic Heroes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Someday. I have never beaten Sonic Heroes, and I really, really want to. So one day. But the last story was just a cool level. Like, it was. I do agree. I wish there had been more missions where you got to switch in a mission, but that was probably harder to program, or they just didn't care.
It's a neat level. I do think it has some of the, like, kind of shakier, like you said with the Knuckles swimming. It has some shaky moments. It has some weird level design choices. The slide stuff with Sonic at the very end of his sequence is it's scary.
And not in like a thrill a minute scary. It's
it's
like, God, I hope I don't go flying over the edge.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just like, it was a weird level. Like, I had to look up a guide to what to do because I was having a hard time figuring out what to do with the switches and stuff.
I had to do that with the Rouge the Bat section because I was like, okay, I hit the switch, but like, what is opening? Like, I don't see anything that's opening.
Freezes times you can go through the waterfall or something like that. It's stupid.
Yeah,
it's weird. Yeah,
and then the Knuckles, but it was nice to have a Knuckles and Rouge stage where I wasn't looking for something. I was just playing through a level. Like, that was actually really nice because I like the way they play.
Reminded me of, worth noting, in Adventure 1, the Knuckles levels are a little bit more level-like in that kind of way for the most part. You are still searching for emeralds, but you're kind of progressing through a level at the same time.
Okay.
So it kind of felt a little more like an Adventure 1 Knuckles level.
Okay.
Cool.
You're making me want to play Adventure 1, finally.
I mean, I love that game, but, I know.
I know it won't be a good game. It's just it's been on my list, my backlog to play for over probably getting close to 20 years at this point that I picked it up for GameCube.
Yeah, it has a lot of fun stuff in it.
So it's one of those games that I really should one day go and play it. But no, I just enjoyed Last Story. And then once you finish the Sonic part, where you're right, you fly down these slides and it is scary as hell and not in a good way. But you get the final boss, the ultimate being, because this whole time in the story you think Shadow is the ultimate being, then you find out the ultimate being is a giant lizard turtle looking thingy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And he
pretty
shoots
goofy.
electric balls from his mouth that I wish there was 2 different animations for which type of electric ball he was going to shoot from his mouth.
It's a terrible fight. I don't know a kid if I ever got past this fight. I don't know for sure. I don't think I ever actually beat it as a kid. I think I got stuck and could not do this part.
When I beat it, I felt like when I beat a Dark Souls boss I've been stuck on, I was just like, yes.
Fun fact to this boss fight, like the way the boss fight works, he shoots these glowing orbs at you, and then you're supposed to jump on the railing, grind up to him, and then hit him in his weak spot. Apparently, by watching the speedrunner just now, you can mash A on his side and climb up that way and hit him.
That works, yeah.
It's so like, you know that phase that you were talking about, Nate, that you're right, is terrible. Like he has a part where he shoots all these bubbles out, and you're supposed to bounce. Home off the bubble. Sometimes they're like, you want to hit a bubble? No, you want to hit the big orange guy and die, don't you? Yeah, that's what you want to do. And the game just makes you do that instead. It's that to me. United save state, so it didn't matter. I'm like, what the fuck?
that final portion of his health where you're like floating midair. When I first got to that part, I had 0 rings and just immediately ate it. And I turned off the game for the night. I was like, I'll beat it tomorrow. Like I'm a little ticked right now.
I don't blame you. I would have been furious too.
Yeah, they don't give you enough rings. You really have a limited supply to work with.
Oh yeah, I collected 1. Like, and then if I got hit, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go collect 1 more. Like,
yeah, that's kind of what you have to do, and even then, it's often not enough. It's a weird fight.
And then you don't even finish the game, like, because in true Sonic nature, like Nate had made a comment, like I should have known I wasn't Sonic. This can't be the final part.
Yeah.
But you do have probably one of the most epic moments in games, I think. Somebody out there rolling their eyes might be people on this episode with me, but
at the time, I'm sure it was pretty cool. Yeah.
I think this is my first time ever doing this. I might have done it once back in the day, but I don't remember if I ever did. But you get to play a Super Sonic and Super Shadow because they use the Chaos Emeralds and they become the super version because the Bio Lizard is trying to pull the space station into Earth to blow it up because, why not? And it plays the Live and Learn song in the background, which is still a great, great song. And you're sitting here flying around as Super Sonic and Super Shadow trying to hit these big glowing spots in the Bio Lizard. It's annoying because he shoots lasers at you and he shoots bubbles at you, and if you get hit, you spin backwards. And if you don't get to him in time where your rings run out and you don't fly underneath him, which the game doesn't exactly tell you, you then die.
I think the sequence has a great sense of motion as you're like moving around the lasers. It feels really cool. It's a satisfying sequence. It's a little bit frustrating if you don't know where to go. And I do remember as a kid being frustrated by that stuff.
I knew where to go. And like the first time I fought him, I like avoided the lasers. I avoided the orbs until he had 1 hit left. And then I just I choked, I guess. And then I was just being knocked back by lasers and orbs. But that first time I did not know that you could like hold X or circle like on a PS4 controller to like move up or down. So I was just moving so slow with the analog stick until I got close enough, and then I would hit X, and I was just like, man, this is taking forever.
That sounds gross. Yeah.
And then I couldn't figure out like Mike said, the game doesn't really tell you how to switch, but like Sonic and Shadow are like, hey, switch to me because your rings are getting low. And I was sitting there tapping like triangle. I was like, okay, let me do it. Like, like let me switch to you, man. And then I Googled it and it was like fly above the space station. So like, I think on one of my attempts I tried and I was like, I'm as high as I can go. Like, I don't understand how
you gotta go underneath his belly and then it switches.
Yeah. But I made it through.
It's impressive that you beat this game legit. Because, I mean, I cheated and beat this game, but with save states.
I wish I had save states or a rewind button. Because, man, that last boss would have been a lot shorter. Mm-hmm. And my niece was watching me fight him. And she was like, is that Sonic the Hedgehog? I was like, don't distract me right now. I'm focusing.
But it's such an epic moment. And and I really love the Live and Learn song.
Yep.
I think that song is amazing.
I kind of love the whole score.
It's really good soundtrack.
Yeah. It's just a lot of fun music and a ton of variety. And it's always at least entertaining to listen to. Yeah.
I disagree. I did not.
But you don't have the nostalgic for it, though.
A lot of the songs just like it was elevator music to me, basically, except for the Pumpkin Hill Zone rap, which is called a Ghost's Pumpkin Soup.
Yep.
Because I Googled it when I heard it. I said, I gotta know. Which, did Sega, like, hire... I mean, they obviously had to hire someone, but, like, you know, what was their direction for it? You know, like, because the person who sings it and raps it, like, they are invested in it. Like, it doesn't sound soulless. They're like, this is the crowning achievement of my life.
Might have been their first gig ever making money and record a song, you know.
Hey, I want to know who it
So, Jun Senoue, Senoue, I'm probably mispronouncing his last name, was the, he was the main composer for the game, and he also is the lead songwriter and guitarist of Crush 40, the band that does a lot of the songs in the game, like Live and Learn, and also does a lot of the music in Adventure 1 with Open Your Heart and all of the stuff in that. So he's kind of the guy for a long time at Sega.
Okay. So he wrote the rap?
I don't know if he wrote the lyrics, but he at least was the like music supervisor. So he, at the very least, was probably the guy hiring the people who performed the rap and wrote the lyrics in English.
He was like J. Jonah Jameson in Whiplash. He's like, again.
Oh,
yeah.
And
I mean, he was in charge of the vision of the music of both of these games. I
mean, there's some good tracks. Like, I guess City Escape is okay. Like, I don't hate listening to it, you know?
Amazing.
Escape.
Oh.
This, if I may, this game inspired me to play. I've never beaten the original Sonic games on Genesis, so I went through and I beat Sonic 1 yesterday, and I'm in the middle of Sonic 2 right now. And I think those games have better music, and they should bring back some of those themes, in my opinion, my humble opinion.
Playing Generations is quite a cool experience musically, because they're really working with like the full gamut of Sonic music over the years, and they're kind of doing really cool stuff with like combining all the tracks in interesting ways and stuff. It's a neat soundtrack.
I really like Crush 40. I actually didn't know they existed until it was when I met my ex-girlfriend. When we had the summer we played this game, we were trying to unlock Green Hill, and that's where she's the one who introduced me to who they were and all, and that it was actual a band and all this music, and not just just random. Hey, they did some of the music too for Shadow the Hedgehog.
They did the music for some rougher games. They did stuff for Heroes and all that.
I really want to play Shadow the Hedgehog so bad for this show.
Was that after this game?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's 2005, I think.
Okay.
I bought it, I played it when it came out, and then I fell off it for some reason. Probably because it was bad.
Can't imagine.
But I've always wanted to go back to it. Like, how many games can you say you play as a hedgehog with a gun? Like, come on now.
Yeah. I mean, the best thing I can say to describe Shadow the Hedgehog is like all the joy that I feel from like just blasting through Sonic Adventure 2 and 1. I have none of that with Shadow. I know that game very well, but I do not enjoy playing that game, not even a second of it. Like it's not fun.
I just have to cover it someday, just because I need to play that game, and like it needs to be wiped off my backlog.
Yeah.
Is it a prequel or a sequel? No. Okay.
It's a sequel.
Proper sequel.
Because there's kind of like you have Sonic Adventure 1, you have Sonic Adventure 2, you have Sonic Heroes, Shadow the Hedgehog, which all came out in this era for GameCube.
Okay.
And I think that's all of them. I don't think there were any other GameCube Sonic games that were 3D.
Shadow the Hedgehog is really weird because it feels like, I don't know if it literally does, but it feels like it is just reusing a lot of the like engine and assets of Adventure 2.
It probably is.
In a way that like you play like one of the earlier Assassin's Creed games and then you play the next one and it's just like, well, this feels like it could be a hardcore mod for that last one. Like that's what Shadow feels like to Adventure 2.
Oh, and then I do want to mention the differences in the battle mode. The main differences in the battle version, which is what came out for GameCube, they have a 2-player like where you could verse each other, and they added a couple characters. Like they added the Chow, or not the boss from Sonic Adventure 1, that blue creature. He's a playable character. I had no idea who he is, and I still don't really. I know he's from the first game though. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, Chaos. Yeah.
Yes, Chaos is in it, and then some other echidna is playable.
Yeah, she's from the first one as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which I remember that, but I didn't mean anything to me because I had never played the original one, but that's the stuff that they added.
Right.
So not much.
Yeah, it's not much. And honestly, the battle mode is like, I mean, good luck roping a friend into playing this with you, but it's also not fun even when you do. So.
Well, back then it was easier because you'd just be like, hey, do you want to come over and play some video games? They'd be
Right.
like, yeah. And then they'd be like, what are we playing? GoldenEye, Perfect Dark. And then you're like, no, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, man. And they go, shit, I'm locked in.
Yeah, then they'd play it for 10 minutes with you and they'd be like, so let's play something else.
Hey, this was probably fun in 2002.
I mean, I was there for it. It was okay.
I was there. I lived it.
Yeah, it wasn't very. It was not.
I didn't play
played.
battle mode either. I didn't care. I think I tried it once or twice. I just enjoyed the single player stuff.
Yeah.
Shout outs to the best line in any video game ever, which is Sayonara Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah. Really good.
It's so good. And then
the final line of the game.
I still think
there was when Eggman is like, "You think I'd fall for a fake crystal?" And Tails is like, "How'd you know it was fake?" And he's like, "You just told me, Fox Boy." And then zoom in on his face as his mouth drops open. I was like, "What is going on in this game?"
So stupid.
It's good. I liked it. I thought it was very funny.
It is funny. It's stupid, but it did make me laugh. So I actually started skipping the cutscenes at the end of this game. I'm like, I can't take it anymore. I don't care about the story.
Can you do that?
When I normally play the game, that's
yes.
What
It let me. It didn't let me in the hero story, but it let me in the dark story.
Huh? That's weird.
Yeah, it was weird. So I'm like, okay, skip. I mean, normally I didn't because I tried to absorb story for this show, but I just couldn't do it. I just didn't give a shit. I couldn't make myself give a shit. So
yeah, I wanted to refresh, but like normally I just skip it.
I mean, how many games let you go and jump into the president's limo? Not many.
Ni no Kuni 2 at the very beginning.
No,
it's true.
I never played 2. I played 1. 1 was good.
Oh, spoilers! It's at the beginning of the game, so it's not really spoilers. But
yeah, Ni no Kuni 2 has an audacious opening.
It's great. Ni no Kuni 2 is a good game.
But I'm sure it can't. Hey, there are very few games that open as good as this game does in the hero story. And I am not being sarcastic. I think this game has one of the best openings ever.
I think
even over Adventure 1 with the whale.
I've never played.
That's what I was looking forward to, because anytime I hear Sonic Adventure 1, it's that. I
can fix that if you're interested in sometime later this year.
Yeah, I might be busy that day.
Okay. I don't have the desire to play that game, but I need to. One day I will play Sonic Adventure 1 just to do it finally.
I think you would have a fun time just going through it once with no pressure. It would like there are frustrating moments for sure, but I think it's worth a play. It's fun.
Would be on the show, of course, but
yeah.
Still, I'm actually doing Super Mario Sunshine later this year for next season because I've never beaten that game.
Sure, yeah.
So I'm going to finally change that.
Yeah, I like Sunshine a lot more than most people, I think, but it's another game that a lot of people point to and say like they don't like how it feels to play, which always throws me off because it's a game that I grew up playing and I have that thing locked into my brain and I'm never going to not like how it feels to play. And
any last things you want to say before we go on to questions, comments, and memories? I do have a few. And I got a decent
I'm liking Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I think that's a fun game.
That's a good game.
That's a good game, yeah.
I'm liking it more than I thought I would, yeah.
If you enjoy it, I recommend 3, Knuckles, and Mania. What
about 4?
3, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 does not exist on the Nintendo Switch, apparently, with the Sega Genesis collection.
That's bizarre.
It is, right? I thought I was crazy.
Oh, one thing we forgot to mention that I just realized, there's also a cart mode in this game, too, which you have to do to earn emblems.
I completely forgot that was a thing.
I did, too. And I just remembered, there's a cart mode. You earn emblems by doing that, and then there's different stuff you get for doing it.
I will say that there are very good PC versions of 3 and Knuckles on Steam that cost like $2 for each one, and they're well emulated and they run great.
I have Mania on my PS4, so I think that'll be the next one.
Great game.
Okay, I want to read some questions. And first, I watched the entire Overlord Replay group. I got a few. First one from Emmanuel, friend of the show. Emmanuel Leon Santiago Rodriguez, Commander Lionheart. I never played it as a kid. It wasn't until 2016 when a coworker loaned me his GameCube with this game, Mario Sunshine and Luigi's Mansion. This was the first game I played out of the 3, and after getting to one of the Knuckles stages, I just took it out of the system and never played it again. Maybe someday I'll go back and beat it, but for now it'll remain one of those games I could just not get into. Yeah.
Understandable.
And from Andrew Burns, I was so into this game as a kid that I would get up early before school just so I could take my child to kindergarten. My brother and I also regularly ran the multiplayer races and even had him convinced at one point that I actually written the music for the game. I'm not sure the game really holds up today, but man, I have so many great memories of it. It'll always be special to me. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. And from Adam Carr, I know opinions on this dude are not high and rightfully so, but I can't believe I'm saying this. Pro Jared was right. We played the stages we loved so much that we forgot how awful the bad stages were, especially with how often we would play the awesome Sonic and Shadow stages for the Child Garden. Nostalgic blinded us to the fact that most of the Emerald/Mech levels were ass. All right. And from also friend of the show, Dominic Chikoki, I think it has plenty of value as a piece of B game cheese. It's not a perfect game, but it's also the most memorable and replayable early 3D Sonic game. They talk about WMDs, World Weapons of Mass Destruction, Eggman blows up the moon, Sonic and friends fight the cops. This game is wild.
Yeah, that cop part, I was like, hell yeah.
Oh, there's also a glitch in this game where you can keep feeding the animals to a chow so they keep getting the upgrades and you don't lose the animal, by the way.
Nice.
I don't know how you do it exactly, but there's some glitch where you can keep doing it. I'm just watching the speedrun, that's what he's doing. So, yeah.
Good stuff.
God, this game is broken. Yeah, I didn't realize how broken this game was, for some reason.
So is this considered the best 3D Sonic, or has there been like a recenter 3D game where it's like, okay, this is better than Adventure 2?
I think Generations is held up very high by most people who like Sonic stuff. Colors was a little bit at the time it came out. I think less so now. And
is that 3D? I thought that one was 2D.
Yes, that's 3D.
Oh, I thought that one was 2D.
Yeah.
Generations is also
less
3D and 2D.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
5D.
I got a few more to read from the Giant Bomb group. From Tom Storm, loved the first level in the Child Garden, wasn't a huge fan of the rest of the game, dreaded playing the Knuckles, Rouge, and Tails, and Robotnik levels. So, most of the game. From Jordan Dodson, the cutscenes where Eggman is holding a gun to Amy's head is probably the funniest thing the series ever produced. And from Matt Willingby, fucking loved this game. Knuckles levels music is god tier for every single one, especially Pumpkin Hill.
Hell yeah.
Nope.
And from the last group I'm going to read from, Official Laser Time Community, from Vincent Goodwin. As a Nintendo kid, I was always interested in Sonic from afar, and Sonic Adventure 2 looked so cool. It had an evil Sonic. I didn't get it till the GameCube. The first few levels are cool. Wasn't sure why Tails was in a mech, but it was fun, but I bounced off hard once I got to the Knuckles levels. I never liked Dowsing/hot cold levels, and it frustrated me greatly. Agreed. Okay, here's a good one. From Ian Bruce McDonald. I absolutely loved this as a kid, especially the Child Garden. So many hours wasted on trying to create the perfect tiny racing and karate machine. But yes, revisiting this is a terrible idea. So many bugs and issues. Also, actually just not a great game, but loved it when I was young. Not wrong. All right, I'll read this one from Kyle Johnson. My mom got off from work one day and randomly picked this up for my brother and I at Target when neither of us had hinted at any interest in it when it came out. I was 13 and didn't want to play a kid's game, and my younger brother seemed to enjoy it, and the Sky Punk intro into the first level got my attention. Fast forward a couple weeks, and I bought that stupid GBA to GameCube adapter to take care of my child, and had already played through the entire game as both good and evil. I picked it up again on Steam, and the port is basically useless and can't even use my controllers on PC for it. I still have my GameCube hooked up, so I'll have to try it again sometime to see how it holds up, but low-key, this game turned into one of my favorite games of 2002. I would return to play a couple levels or check on the child for a couple years, and was just fun to play in between JRPGs and Counter-Strike. And last one I want to read from Jack Rodriguez Dougherty. Pyramid level music slaps. A real elevator shred banger. Okay. So yeah, there you go. And that will bring us to our last segment, Shelf Stacker Box. And Reis, why don't you go first?
Oh, goodness.
Shelf being something you really like, box being something you dislike, stack being something that you like but not enough to put on your shelf.
Well, it's a shelf for me because I play it every year. But it's almost out of obligation on a personal level at this point. So yeah, it's there. It's there on the shelf.
What about you, Nate?
I would give it to Reis so he could display on his shelf.
Yeah.
Proudly. ultimately, to me, it's a box. I did not even though talking about it, I guess I do have some weird nostalgia for it where I'm like, oh yes, that level was okay. I don't think I will ever return to this game. I think if someone was like, hey, should I play Sonic Adventure 2? I would say, did you play it when you were a child? And if they said no, I would be like, don't touch that game, man, because you will
That's
just
fair.
question everything about video games.
That is true. No truer statements have been said. Okay, I'll go last. I'll put this in the stack. I can't shelve it, and I also can't box it, so it's just going to go in the stack. I mean, I did not enjoy it as much. I was so excited to replay this game. I have been telling people how great this game is for years, and it turned out that I lied to myself. I mean, this game does so much stuff, but when you play it in 2022, it just doesn't hold up the same. It just isn't. Games have changed so much, and this game is stuck in 2002, and it feels it. And as much as I enjoyed it back then, I just couldn't enjoy it that way again, which made me sad. And there's also so much to this game, though. Like, it is impressive how much stuff is shoved into this game that you could do if you were a completionist. So, that's cool.
Yeah. It's a very satisfying game to, like, air quotes, master. But, like, not many people are going to do that these days.
No. I mean, I play too many other games. I have too much stuff going on that it's just like, it's just not worth it to me anymore. It just wasn't fun to me. I had fun with some levels, but a lot of levels angered me, so there was that too.
Yeah.
If Sega showed up at E3 this year and they said, we are remaking Sonic Adventure 2 like how Final Fantasy VII got remade, would you play it?
Of course.
Oh, unquestionably.
Okay.
I'd be very excited.
Regret that I didn't do more with the Chow in this playthrough, but I just didn't care.
Yeah, that's fine.
I just couldn't get myself to do I've done all the races. I've done everything at one point, and I just didn't care enough to do it this time.
Now, if they did the same thing, but they said, we're remaking Sonic 2006.
I really
I'd
want
still
to
play
that game.
You would? Okay.
I want them to put it on PC because I want to replay it. I own it on 360 and PS3, but I like it on PC. But yeah, I really want to replay that game someday.
Yeah, I just rebought it on PS3 recently.
Oh, wow.
That game's a nightmare.
I know. That's why I want to play it.
I've only seen like YouTube videos, and I've been like, wow, that does not look fun to play.
It's really in rough shape.
It's on my list to someday play and for the show. Oh, and last thing I do want to say that I forgot to mention that there are different carts you can unlock for every character also. And there's also like almost different playable characters that are in the kart racing too.
I remember that now. I grew up with Sonic R, so that was like a big nostalgia point for me was like, kart racing in a Sonic game.
That's the thing. Like, there's so much to this game. Like, if you would have bought this game as a kid, there's so much for you to do.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And that's, I think, why I love this game so much as a kid is that there was just so much to play. As an adult, where I don't give a shit and I just want to play a story and move on, I don't care. But as a kid, like, this game was a really good value at the time for GameCube.
Yeah, I mean, I owned 2 console games for an entire summer. It was Melee and this nonstop.
Yeah. That's all you need. Melee has so much content.
Yeah.
All right, and I should introduce what we're going to be talking about next week. Next week, I'm playing another game that I regret playing for the show. We are playing Batman Arkham Origins Blackgate for 3DS, Vita, PC, and everything else, I think, too. But it was originally a 3DS Vita game. It's a Metroidvania sort of game set in the Arkhamverse. Yeah, it's strange as hell. But you can hear all about that next week. So definitely go check that out. And Reis, where can people find you at?
Yeah, people can find me at www.sidegroupgames.com. That is the website for my little company. You can also follow me on Twitter. And let me remember what my Twitter account is. It is at sidegroupgames, one word.
You do a fun thing. Oh, sorry.
You're good. I mostly post about video game soundtracks on vinyl these days because that's what I do all day, every day.
I was about to say,
is this on vinyl?
Enjoy following your vinyl tweets where you're like, this is what I listened to today. I'm like, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
is this on vinyl at all, Reis?
Oh, yes, it is. Both one and two.
It should be.
And I have them both.
Live and Learn needs to be played as loud as possible. Like, before we did this recording, I sat down and just kept replaying City Escape and Live and Learn because insanity.
It's great.
Those songs are just perfect. I don't know Cityscape is perfect. Even though I always thought it said "Follow Your Way Home," it was "Follow My Rainbow." All these times I had that line wrong.
An easy mistake to make.
Just like Just like the Taylor Swift song, Blank Space, where people think she said Starbucks lovers or star-crossed lovers. I forget what the actual wording is now. Long list of ex-lovers. That's what it is. Yes. Okay. And I think I should. And if you enjoyed this episode, we have lots of other episodes for you to listen to. We haven't done a lot of Sonic episodes, unfortunately, but there are a couple if you want to hear more Sonic opinions. We have done Super Sonic vs. Hyper Knuckles Comic 15 and Sonic and Knuckles and Sonic 3 Episode 18. We have not done much Sonic, damn. Oh, and we also did Knuckles. We also did the Knuckles game, Knuckles Chaotix. So if you want to listen to that, there's also that, where I cover Knuckles Chaotix, the game, and the comic. It's somewhere in there, in our catalog. That game's not good, by the way. It's the only 32X game I have ever played. I don't recommend it. So definitely go listen to that. I recommend the episode. And if you can't find any episodes, because Spotify and iTunes only go back so far, everything is on Podbean, so definitely go check us out there. And if you want to help out the show, we have a Patreon. For as little as $1, you can sign up for our Patreon polls. Each month we have a different poll. Right now is what Tim Burton film we should cover next month. So you can change that. Right now, Beetlejuice is winning, so definitely go vote in that and sign up. It helps out the show and keeps the lights on, and I will eventually do more with it as more people sign up and I actually have make more money from it to do my other plans I have. So definitely go help us out there. I want to give a shout out to our awesome intro and outro courtesy of Helena at Hell Has Fury. Follow her on TikTok. She made our music. And please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and on YouTube. We're only audio, but we are on YouTube if you like your podcast that way. And want to give a shout out to my buddy Bill Tucker, who started his own show, Gamer Looks at 40. Definitely go check him out. You see the link in the show notes to his podcast. And I think that's everything I need to say. So we will see you guys all next time. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm glad you guys came. Have a